Maybe one day.
What
was like,
topic
you
is
know-
that you're showing for animes for free?
Fine.
I'm sorry. But it's like, it's so iconic that it's like, yeah.
It's so iconic, and then you watch it, and then the final episode just slams you into like a cliffhanger that never gets resolved because
But it
they
gets
gave up.
resolved in the manga. No, the manga. There's also one new adaptation that's like coming up, so we're excited about that. The studio. It might be, I don't know which studio.
Wait, you're saying they're making another one?
Yeah. So they usually, like, the studios will like pick up projects and stuff. And recently, I've like seen a Berserk trailer for the new version. Would wait for it. Fucking Stripes. You know what? He watches like 2016 Berserk and says it's good. I'm like, what is this dude talking about? Right? Has no fucking taste or whatever. Okay, I can't get into that. It gets me really angry. But yeah, they have like a new version that they're like releasing, I think this year or like next year. So
Holy
I'll
shit.
DM you the details when that comes up. It's really good.
Thank you, Dan.
The promo looks super good. The trailer is chef's kiss. So
Oh shit! So they've already shown samples of it. Oh man.
yeah,
Okay. This could be
I'll DM.
cool. Oh yeah, DM, send that my way because you know what? My biggest thing with the animes is that like, you know, you watch them and they always end up in like an end of the world thing where everybody just got fucked over, and then that's it, right? And so that's what happened with Berserk again, right? It happened with Attack on Titan. Happened.
But dude, you're
Berserk.
watching. It's the issue with that is you're watching really, like, either you're watching too much shonen or seinen genres of like animes and mangas. There's so much like genres that you can't be like everything ends up like there's slice of life, there's comedy, there's just like too much like genres. You're only, if you're like talking about Attack on Titan, Berserk, these are like some of like animes that just like went too crazy, you know, in terms of popularity. And there's a reason why these animes kind of end up with that. So I'll send you some like cool animes that, you know,
Oh heck
don't
yeah!
end up.
Yeah, I appreciate that because you know the interesting thing is I think it's just my luck is what it is. I just randomly I'm just gonna randomly watch some animes, and then so like what did I do? I watched Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Evangelion.
Yeah.
Evangelion.
And then what happens at the end? Ends up in everyone's
Ever.
fucked end of the world situation, right?
You're watching seinen animes.
Oh, is that what that
so
was?
like yeah, like so with shonen, it's like if you look at One Piece, you have Naruto, you have Bleach.
Etc. So think about this, and this was something that hit me at a young age. I remember growing up, and one of my relatives had a cabin in the Northeast, and it was made of pine wood. And I remember every summer going there, and just all the wonderful just childhood memories, and playing by the lake, and playing with cousins and things that we had there. And it was all kind of blended with the smell. Like you walked into this cabin and there was this unmistakable smell of pine wood, right? It's one of the most distinct smell. And I remember I had not been there in almost 20 years. And one day I just walked in and the smell hit me, and I literally had this flood of childhood memories come back to me just from that smell, right? And it sort of set off kind of I'm like, why is that? And it's actually this study that they did confirmed that our brains store memories and concepts the same way we say, you know, the map is not the territory, right? You can't fit a 3D globe on, so we use a representation like a two-dimensional map. So our brains store things as symbols. but we also store symbols and intertwine them with the things they're close to. So when somebody says, you maybe had a favorite song in high school, right? And that song comes on the radio and somebody says, man, that song takes me back to high school. It literally physiologically does. And the reason is because your memories of high school are intertwined with all the hundreds of times you heard that song. The taste of a favorite food, the sound of music, a smell, all of those things. So where am I going with this? What I think is important is that symbols are how we connect with other people. It's how we form relationships and understanding, both on a single individual level, but also kind of at scale, right? As a society, we rally around symbols, right? Symbols of American culture, symbols of, there's a reason every country in the world has a flag, right? Think of all that is associated just with looking at that object. It's the same thing as smelling the pine wood. It's the same thing as that song that takes you back to high school. You also find, if you study enough world history, you find that these things are actually kind of universal. This is kind of a mind-blowing concept. Part of my ancestry is Scottish, and some of my ancestors were part of a very prominent clan in Scotland, I'm not going to give you the name, but this very, very recognizable name. But when I lived in Japan as a child, you found out that Japanese society, they had a clan structure and a set of honor and codes and all that. Literally, Scotland, medieval Europe, and Japan had almost the exact same social structure. These are societies that never had any contact, right? So if there's not some underlying cause or intertwined connecting consciousness to that, it would be difficult to explain otherwise. So now let's get into something I think is kind of more practical to the task at hand. We look at we're facing, we look at how much the left, they want to tear down statues, they want to tear down flags, they want to, desecrate every symbol of everything they're trying to destroy. And people kind of dismiss that. Oh, well, it's no big deal. It's just a flag. It's just a pride cross.